Greetings and welcome to another long-awaited episode of Tales from the Late Show. My name is Mike Chisholm, and I love talking about all things David Letterman, all things Worldwide Pants. I love the stories. I love everything that came from that production company. And I just, you know what? People have asked me why I do these videos sometimes, and the answer really comes down to this. We have this machine that was, David Letterman was the mad engineer of this massive machine of people who created, in my opinion, like my favorite entertainment franchise ever. And so much of that machine was like a one and done. It was something we did one night. It was funny. It was entertaining. And then we just kind of threw it away. Well, we live in a time and place now where you don't necessarily have to throw that kind of stuff away. And there's a whole bunch of people that agree with me. And it's been a very fun experience that kind of started, in that photograph back there, back a month before David Letterman finished up his run on the Late Show. That's me in the audience there talking to him. We can talk about that another day. I can put that on video. And since that story has happened, there's been a void because Dave left, and it's going to be 6 years on the 20th of May, 2021. We're right there. We're making this video because of that. 6 years since Dave left the air of being on every single night, putting nations of people to bed with a smile on their face. And a whole bunch of us have gotten together and want to remember this stuff. And I'm really blessed because one of the things that was special about anything that David Letterman was really involved with was that it wasn't just Dave. It was also the people around Dave, the people that worked with Dave, the people that worked for Dave, and they became characters. And we as audience members became characters in his franchises, and we could all be part of things. And Dave was our best friend on TV, but sometimes, and I mean, this isn't sacrilege, sometimes the more fascinating people on that show weren't Dave. They were the people that worked with Dave. And I have been blessed, very, very blessed, that in this last year to become tight with Arthur Kelly. Arthur Kelly, of course, was the receptionist on the 12th floor, worked for Dave, but was also used as a talent, a pool of talent, a mighty pool of talent on the Late Show for years. And his life was changed by that. And since the show has gone off the air, he and I have connected. And the Worldwide Pants jacket that I'm wearing, this is a garment that you only get when you got the chance to work for Dave. Well, Arty knew how badly I wanted to be part of that brotherhood, sisterhood that was the Worldwide Pants family, and he actually sent me this jacket. And if I talk about it too much, I'll actually tear up because it meant so much to me when he did that. Arty's with us today. Many times he goes by Arty, the one-man party. He puts up videos every week, Fun Fridays with Arty. Arthur Kelly, thank you for taking time out of your day to sort of give a salut or mourn 6 years for the Late Show being off the air.
Well, Mike, thank you for wasting your time with me.
It's never a waste of time when we interact. I tell you this, when you and I interact, and usually every week there's either some commenting on social media back and forth or some text messages. My friend, you always put a really big smile on my face. And I just want to say thank you very much for, during a pandemic where we all need to come together and make each other smile. You have made me smile a lot this past year. Thank you for that, man.
Well, you're welcome, my friend. You're welcome. That's all I can do. That's all I can give. That's the only gift I can give to the world. I have no money to give. I can just give a small donation of laughter.
Well,
so
and that's
if that can make someone's day, then I'm good with that.
Oh man, and I appreciate that so much about you, and I love that. I was going back and forth a little bit with Bill Sheft a couple weeks ago, and that's one of Dave's inner circle right hand man, and we're going back and forth, and one of the things he said to me, he goes, "I love that you and Arty are doing videos." Or Arty's been on, and he goes, I would always say to Arty before he would perform as Mike Singletary on the show in Coach's Corner, I would always say to him, Arty, you're my Brando. And now
he'd say that. Yeah. Bill Sheft. He doesn't call, he doesn't write, but that's great. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
now
no,
I've gotten in the habit of saying, if you look at some of the videos Artie puts up on Fridays, he puts up Fun Fridays. He's dressed up for Fun Friday right now. He's in the tux. He's got the glasses on. Artie, what is Fun Fridays? You've been doing these videos. You've been working with Comedy Lemonade. You've been getting your performance, stretching your performance muscles a little bit. What is Fun Fridays?
Well, Fun Fridays came out of during the pandemic, out of boredom, middle-aged boredom. I was sitting home, and I bought a new iPhone, and I said, let me just try this camera out. So I set the camera up, and then I did my first video, and then I looked at the video. I said, something about this video is missing, because I was just with a shirt and I didn't have a tie. I just had a shirt on.
Sure.
And it was like a coloring book. I said, this video needs a little bit more color into it. So I added some extra perks to it, a little bit, something for my nails and my lips and my eyelashes. And so then I just built up from there. And actually, it dawned on me one day, one of the stage managers, his name was Eddie Volk.
Yep.
Hi, Eddie. Eddie Volk used to call me Arty the One Man Party. And then I said, wow, Arty the One Man Party. Oh. And then a lot of it is who I really am. But, I put it in the comical context, but about the clubs and dancing with no clothes and getting in the pool naked. And
the stories of Arty the One Man Party are legendary.
There's endless stories. So that's how that came about, and I don't know how long I'm going to do it. Half the time, Mike, to be honest with you, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea and why I'm doing it either. So
that's the kind of the fun part about it. And I mean, that's what I think creates some of the funnest moments in life is when we do things with no outcome and then you get surprised by what actually does come from it. You're stretching your performance chops. You're also working with Comedy Lemonade. Comedy Lemonade is an improv group, right?
Yes.
And have you guys been able to do some things even during the pandemic?
Well, we were doing Zoom rehearsals, and now we're doing actually physical rehearsals at a theater. So, and then we anticipate taping July and August. So, and I've got a couple of parts that I'm going to, work with them on, but it's fun. It's great people, young guys. A lot of these people are experienced actors. Me, sure. What am I? Just your average hillbilly from New Jersey. So,
that's what people think of you when they look at you, Arty. They think, oh, there's a hillbilly right there.
Well, yeah, a little bit dressed up today. You know what I'm saying? Look like I'm going to the prom. Matter of fact, one of the skits is called Prom Night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I play a father of a teenage daughter. So that alone tells you, wow, that's frightening within itself.
Arty the homeboy hillbilly.
That's it. Yeehaw. I had my harmonica here somewhere. But
so with this, okay, so speaking of no outcome, like you think about this performance bug that has been activated in you, would that have happened if you never would have been tapped on the shoulder to be part of the Late Show on camera? Like if you had just stayed behind the scenes, would this part of you exist today? Like
probably not. No. So the Coach's Corner, that really kept, I actually, when they presented the idea to me, I said, well, it sounds great. And then when they told me how it was going to be done, I said, no, thank you. No, this is not for me. Right. Because, it's a live performance. And then I'm working with the big guy himself. That, and it's a lot of pressure because I've never worked as an actor before. Yeah. So, they said, well, Arty, it'll be great. It's going to be wonderful. I'm like, well, guys, yeah, you'll be behind backstage giggling, like seeing me how I screw it up. So I guess it'll be funny, but not to the audience and not to the big guy. So, right. But if I had not gotten that opportunity, I'd probably dare to say not.
That's cool. Like, again, that's one of those things and now all these years later, you're like you say, you love putting smiles on people's faces and this performance part. I watch you every single video you put up. I watch them and I laugh and you got the music playing and you're just letting yourself go and it's improv and it's so funny. I love it. I wish there was more of that in the world. I think if there was more of that in the world, There'd be a lot more smiling and a lot less of the shouting at each other that we're doing.
Oh
these
yeah,
days.
yeah. Because I'm not into any bitterness, anger. I'm not about fun, laughter. So the thing is, if I can offer that, that's all I want to be able to. That's my small contribution. That's all I can make.
It's been 6 years. You put up the other day that it was 6 years that day, that it was the last day that you worked for Worldwide Pants. On the 20th, it's going to be 6 years since Dave's very last show. And it's interesting watching the groundswell of fans talking about this anniversary coming up. And I wonder if actually each year that goes by, if there will actually be more people that think about it and talk about it. You know what? I've watched the late night stuff that's on out there right now, but there's still nothing like the Late Show. I can only imagine at this time right now, you must be thinking of some of the memories and those must be resurfacing. Do you remember your last day working for the Late Show?
Absolutely. So the last day I go to work, they took the desk, they tore it down, the clocks that were behind me, those were gone. They just did because they were remodeling. So everything was torn and missing and gone. So that's when the reality hits you. Like, this is it. You're gonna have to exit the building. That's it. Yeah. You're not gonna come back here again. So that was, and then also when I came out of the building, and I stood in front of the building, and there was a huge photo of Dave up over the building.
Right.
So I just looked up at the photo, and I'm like, what am I going to do now? Because I had no real job lined up after leaving the show. So now I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to do now, big guy? So I'm looking up at this photo. I said, big guy, give me a sign, give me a signal, something. So I was looking at his photo, and it looked like he was trying to tell me comedy, So that's when the doorbell rang. It's like, oh, maybe I should try that, because I was inside there, the biggest show on television, and I was able to make people laugh there. So maybe, who knows, I could try something else. So that was my last thought of when I was there. I just stood there in front of the building and thinking about, what am I going to do next? I got to go get a job, I guess. But I didn't know exactly what I was going to do next. So, and hey, listen, it was all accidental. Everything I do in my life was an accident. I think even being born was an accident.
A happy accident, hopefully.
Yes.
Did you? Okay, so were you at the last show?
Yes.
You went to the last show. Where did you watch the last show?
In my office. So I was sitting at the desk, because we have a television. Everybody has like a television on the desk. So I was watching it from the office.
Okay. When the last show finished, does Dave come back up to the office, or was there already a mechanism where that guy's leaving the building? He's gone he's gone now, and that was it, or did he come back up?
Well, I'm trying to think. For that particular day, I think he did.
Yeah.
But normally he's a very routine guy. He goes down, does the show, comes out screaming, Arty! And then for some reason he got into this thing hurling an object like a carrot or something like that and he would rifle at it real quick to see if my hands were quick, and I would catch it. But it's a little weird. So, but
that's fantastic. That's gold. Okay, to us Letterman fans, that's gold. So he would finish a typical show, come back to the office, and he would wing something at you.
That's going down. So when he comes out, because he was all ready, because he comes out the door like zoom, and so he's like, Arty! Then he's rifling something at me, and I catch it like this, like a superhero, and then off he goes, and he goes down, and he comes back up, and then and that's it.
But you don't remember that particular day if he came back up or not?
I can't really say for sure. He might have just stayed downstairs for a little bit, because after the show, people are gathering around, want to hold his hand, want to shake his hand, want to get a photo with him, and just to be there. So sure. I don't remember exactly if he came right back up, but I know that I'm quite sure after I left, he probably did.
Yeah, I gotcha. The after party that happened after that show, you went to that, right?
Oh yes, I did.
I've heard many stories. I've become friendly with a lot of the folks that worked for the show, and that party sounds like it was that's a night to remember.
Oh, most definitely. And in honor of the big guy, I put my loafers on with my off-white socks.
People used to, like, you spent more time than a human being ever should talking to people about David Letterman's socks.
Well, people would call up and they would ask me, why is he wearing white tube sweat socks with Ferragamo loafers? I said, he's a fashionista. What can I tell you? That's the style. But, if they weren't white, they were, I guess they were like an off-white or something like that.
Sure.
But, people they gravitate towards, whatever they see, but it was fun. Sometimes it can become a little annoying because the same person would come back and then they'll say, can I speak to Rob Burnett?
Right.
And I'm like, well, what is it you'd like to speak with Mr. Burnett regarding? I'd like to speak to Mr. Burnett regarding Mr. Letterman's socks.
Yeah, because that's Rob. That's not below Rob's pay grade at all.
I always was courteous with everybody. There was no need to start saying, listen, get lost, get a life, because that's not the kind of guy that I am. I just pretty much tell us that Mr. Burnett's not available, and there's no one available to discuss with you about socks. However, I have an email address if you'd like to Mr. Letterman's office. If you like this, oh, goody. I said it's lswdl@aol.com. And that's going to go directly to his office. I said, that's what it is. lswdl@aol.com. So the thing is, let them send it, and then, let them think that, I don't know what they were expecting, maybe a pair of socks for themselves or their husbands or their loved ones. But, it was fun each day. I would go to work. Let's talk about my first day.
Sure.
Oh, my first day when I came, there was no show, because I was working at Goldman Sachs, believe it or not. And I left there.
Goldman Sachs or Goldman Socks?
Well, same thing, same people, same people. And I was thinking, I said, well, I've been in the corporate world for decades now, and it's time for a change. So then I came to Worldwide Pants, and at that time I was watching the news, and they said that David Letterman had bypass surgery. So it didn't really affect me at that point because I had not really gone for an interview. So then I get the interview and I go get the job. And then I'm thinking to myself, after I got the job, I'm like, well, what happens if this guy doesn't come back?
Right.
Yeah. Yipes. My job, what am I going to do now? I would go back and say, listen, please give me my job back. So my first day, because it was quiet, it was dark, and there was no shows, no taping, but the staff was there.
Right.
So the young lady that was showing me, giving me instructions about what to do, the do's and don'ts, she just ran through things very quickly. She said, well, here's the telephone, answer the late show, and good luck. And then she left. She ran. She said, good luck. And my first call, I think my first call was someone, because I wasn't used to, my first time talking to people from the public,
sure.
And the first call was somebody was ranting about something, and I'm holding the phone like. So, yeah, but after each day became more fun and more enjoyable. And then sometimes, it can become a little irritable because you had the same caller calling back, throughout the day. It was, but overall, it was, and the staff, they were good people. I got along with everybody, mostly everybody, I think.
Sure.
And
I've never met anybody who hasn't had fantastic things to say about you.
Well,
everybody says, "Oh, Arty's great. Arty's great. Arty's funny. Arty's so nice. Everybody says that they loved you."
How many people did you talk to? Probably 1, 2,
3.
Probably three.
Yeah, 3 people.
Yeah, I figured probably 3. But if you talk to the entire staff, they say, he was, I don't know, this guy was weird. He just sat there and looking at the wall, looking at the ceiling, and he wasn't really social. He wasn't a real, but the thing is, when you go into these environments, you feel yourself out. You realize we're all kids in a certain way.
Yeah.
So, we and the thing is, what do we have in common? Because I had no TV background. So a lot of things that they were talking about, about different people that were involved with this, that, and the other, it didn't really interest me because I had no background in that. So when I first came to the show, I had no knowledge about anything. I had no what a top 10 list. I said, what is that? Like a Chinese menu or something? So, but you learn these things as you go along, and you develop the personalities of the people. So, the thing is, my job primarily was to just, provide the service,
Right.
and then along the way, you feel people out, you'll know who to joke around with, who not to joke around with. And, but in that environment, joking is welcome.
All right. Without outing anybody for anything, just the names. Who is one person you could joke with? Who is one person that you didn't joke with?
Let's see. One person I could joke with. Well, probably the maintenance guys.
Okay.
Yeah. And one person I couldn't joke with, let me think. There's probably about a dozen of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
One name. No stories, nothing salacious, because you and I are both positive people. But one person that you just didn't fuck around with. One guy you didn't joke with.
I think his name was Lee.
Lee. Okay. And we'll just keep it with that. Don't joke with Lee.
Well, yeah, I don't know, because like I said, these guys were writers. They were, up in the stratosphere. So, and then the thing is, what do we have in common to talk about? So my interpretation of what might be funny, they might consider is an insult.
A little bit askew.
Yeah, so I think, because we have different backgrounds. We come from different parts of the country, different environments. So the thing is, what I would say maybe may consider for them is like, just recently, I made a comment about someone, a staff member, and it was nothing bad. I said something to the effect like the glamour. It was a guy actually. I said this, the glamorous, the wonderful, and whatever, and he took offense to it. But I didn't think. But see, in my world, that I don't find that offensive, because I said he's the glamorous, the wonderful, the talented, But it was meant as a something. It's something positive, but he interpreted it as being negative. I guess the word glamorous he didn't particularly care for that. So but the thing is, remember the comedy. Because sometimes people view comedy different,
Yes.
and I wasn't trying to be comedic about it, but I was just trying to be, kind and funny.
Yeah.
No,
you were being light and just throwing it out there.
Well, yeah, just throwing it out there. Nothing insulting. I didn't mean it to be an insult, but this is where I realized that you have to be kind of like this, when you're dealing with these type of individuals.
And it's funny. This is another. It's going to lead to a question.
Okay.
I look at the world that we live in today, and sometimes I'll watch YouTube clips of the show, and things will get, whether they're comedy bits, something that Dave said from the desk, whatever it might be, and I'll think, oh, you can't get away with that today. And the world has just gone and become a whole lot more damn sensitive than it was even 6 years ago. The sensitivity level of the world has just been turned right up.
Yeah.
So the question is this. So you were kind of the first line of defense when it came to people phoning in. So when Dave would say something that irked somebody, that the one that I keep coming back to is Sarah Palin, because he scored some amazing comedy points off Sarah Palin. Like some of my biggest laughs in the mid 2000s were David Letterman saying something about Sarah Palin. When something like that would happen, would your call level quadruple at that point?
Oh, skyrocket. I can always tell what my day is going to be like the next day after the show.
You'd watch like, oh, tomorrow's going to be oh boy. Here we go.
Yeah. After the show, after I watched the show, I said, that would determine if I would go to bed early or go to bed late. So I would go after work, I would come home and go to bed straight to bed, because I figured I have to have all the energy that I'll need to deal with what's going to come the next day. And the Sarah Palin thing, it was really, people were calling off. I mean, it was a joke. It wasn't, to me, it wasn't an offensive joke. And the people that were just, oh, he's horrible. What is the sponsor's name? We're going to shut you down. And then they had the Fire Dave rally.
Yeah.
They had 5 people out in front of the theater with oak tags walking around, like they were trying to sell used cars. Listen. Yeah. But listen. But and then that was that, and then it was so many other. There was a joke that was made about Miss Columbia.
Okay.
And that was, I didn't think that would caught me off guard. I mean, because I didn't think it was going to be explosive. But the next day, I get on the phone, Telemundo, every Latin media outlet is on the phone wanting to speak to Mr. Letterman, and then it was really wild. It was crazy, but it was good. I enjoyed it, and I put in hand. They gave me the confidence to know that I could handle it.
Yeah,
because that's what my job was, to handle all of the calls that were coming in, and people were demanding, and and I, as the gatekeeper, I can't let you in.
Right.
So I mean, the thing is, unless if permission, but just the average viewer calling up saying I didn't like the joke, and you guys listen. If you did, I have like cable, and I have like 200 channels.
Yep.
If there's something that I don't like, I go to the other channels.
Change the channel.
Yeah, I'm not going to call CNN and say, listen, I don't like the way Don Anderson Cooper's hair looks and all that. I could care less. But that's just me. So
we would never say that, of course, because of course we love Anderson Cooper's hair.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness, boy! I tell you, he's definitely a metrosexual. So the thing is, so it was wonderful each day, and sometimes the staff members, they said, how do you deal with it? How do you take it? I said, crazy is my business. That's all I know. That's all I know is crazy. So if you talk to me, if you're not talking crazy, I'm not interested. So to me, I didn't take it personal. And I just did it. I think I got maybe 2,000 calls or something like that, single-handedly handling myself, and dealing with the people, listen, it's all gone now.
It is all gone now. But I'm glad that it's not forgotten. And I'm glad that we have conversations like this and stories, and there's still stories that are coming out. I was lucky enough. I'm starting to turn into a little bit of a collector of this stuff. And because I've gotten to know some of you guys, I've been fortunate enough to get some pretty cool collectibles. I'm going to put one up right now. I know that you have one of these. This is kind of like, you called it your family album.
The Late Show family album. Yeah, because they have photos that go back like 30 years or something like that. Well before I came there, so, and it's a very heavy book.
It's gigantic. It's a coffee table book that, as far as I know, was just made for you guys. Like, I don't think you could buy this anywhere. The only people that got it were the staff. It literally was a family album of the 20 years of the Late Show.
Yeah. Wonderful. I've looked through the book, most of the book, but because it's so many pages, and I found my photo in there. So I guess I think it was in there twice.
Yeah, you're in there a bunch. It's really neat seeing that. It's really neat reminiscing about this stuff. I get tickled whenever you or any of the staff are willing to sit down and talk to me about this stuff. It's been 6 years. To me, it's 6 years poorer. I miss the big guy, but I miss all of you and how you all contributed to what the big guy did. Hey, don't get me wrong. I would love to sit down and have a conversation one day with David Letterman, and talk about, that, and talk about some of the other, some cool things, and ask him some questions. I would love to do that. Don't get me wrong. But I get just as excited talking to you and some of the other people that I've spoken with, both privately and ones that we're going to do some video with. I get just as excited talking to you guys, because Worldwide Pants really was sometimes dysfunctional, sometimes functional family. And I think the show showed that. That's who y'all were. It was a family, and it was such a neat thing. And I miss it. I miss it very much.
Well, yeah, because we dined together, we partied together, and I remember my first time going to the Emmy Awards.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. Because when I first came, they asked me, they said, "Are you going to the Emmy Awards?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm the new guy. Just make joke on it." I'm like, "No, I'm not going to the Emmy Awards. What is that all about?" They said, "Well, we all go to the Emmy Awards." Really? So they said, "Well, you have to." Yeah. So they said, "Well, you have to talk to this person and tell them that you'd like to go." Really? So I said, "This has got to be a joke. I think they're goofing on me." So no, realistically, no, there wasn't a joke. So the thing is, they said, "Well, we're gonna, gave me all the information and whatever." And then I went out to the Emmy Awards, and then I bought my Armenian tuxedo. I have 3 tuxedos. This is one of 3. So because I didn't want to rent a tuxedo, because I mean, would you rent underwear? Maybe some people would probably, but I figured I invest in buying a tuxedo. So I went out for the awards, and it was wonderful. It was great, and it was my first time actually experiencing the actual physical award ceremony there at the Shrine Auditorium.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was wonderful. Then I went back another time. I think 2 years later, I think I went back. I've got 2 Emmy Awards under my.
You went, or I guess Dave won earlier, didn't he? He won earlier than you would have shown up there.
Well, I don't know. He got there, but he was there.
No, but did you win the award? Did you win the awards that year?
The first time I went, we won.
Nice.
And then the second time I went back, unfortunately, we did.
Right.
So yeah, but it was wonderful. I mean, even though just to be nominated was exciting for me, because when they named, they start, going to the categories and saying, "Well, for best comedy, we have The Late Show with David Letterman." We're all like, "Hey," And then the greatest part is when it says, "And the winner is The Late Show with David Letterman." Wow. I almost I almost fainted in my seat because I was so excited, because I'm like, wow, we won. And that gives you a sense of like you're part of something. You're on a winning team. So
absolutely.
Yeah, that made me feel really good inside.
You just told a small story of an experience that very, very few human beings ever get to get a chance to live through, and that's a really neat moment. And I'm really grateful that you shared it with me. That's a cool story. And
well, yeah.
Go ahead.
No. I'm just saying yes, because it was. I still have photos of it, of the event also. Maybe I'll find them and post those. I'll have to check with other people to find out if they want their photo, posted.
Oh man, yeah, that stuff is fascinating. And when you say being a part of something, like, I mean, you look at, jackets like this. Oh, by the way, we're going to do some videos of you modeling some of the other jackets, right? Because it's funny. People have asked me about this since I got it. And I said, well, this is like one of my most prized possessions now. Well, what is it exactly? Well, you had to work for David Letterman to get this. And they're like, oh, and they go back to my story. Because when I talked to Dave, that was what I was asking for. I was asking for a jacket, right? And people never really understood what it was. And they do things like this or the book, or you were a part of something. And it's really cool to see the lengths that company went to make people feel a part of something.
Well, yeah. So the thing is, there was definitely a different feeling in terms of, the work environment.
Yep.
In the office, and then sometimes we would go out and have fun. And the holiday parties were blasts.
Yeah.
And everything, any events that we had were great. But the work environment was the best thing, and especially with my where I was, because I pretty much was like by myself. Yeah. So I mainly dealt with the public, with the calls and all the other stuff, and giving information as well. So it wasn't all just bitterness and anger. There were people calling up saying that they enjoyed the show, they enjoyed the interview. So it was a lot of good things.
Sure.
It wasn't just constantly every day, just, but some of it was funny. A guy would call, he said, let me tell you something. He said, Letterman, he's no Jack Benny. I said, well, yeah. I said, because he doesn't play the violin, But these are the thing is, you're paid to listen to that. And then the thing is, I kind of said, well, thank you, sir. Thank you for calling. Have a great day. And that's the end of the conversation, because you don't want to keep the door open.
Sure.
Because if you keep the door open, before you know it, it's going to be more nonsense coming through. So I kindly just say, okay, sir, very well. I'll take your comment and we'll pass along. Who are you going to pass along to? I want to speak to Letterman's assistant, because people are always forcing their ways in, and I got to make sure that, unless you have a legitimate reason, then there's no need for us to continue this conversation.
You're shutting them down.
That's it.
Whenever you and I converse about stuff, and I take you back to certain moments of the show, we usually talk about the Mike Singletary stuff, because that's the stuff obviously you did the longest, you did the most of, but you actually did some other stuff on the show as well. And one of the things that you did on the show was something that, again, a very, very small handful of people in the world have had a chance to do. Some very big stars have had a chance to do this, but you actually got to be part of the top 10, and you got to read an entire top 10 list.
Wow. Yeah, I was, I tell you, they said, well, we want you to do a top 10 list. I'm like, really? Are you sure you want me to do it? They said, yeah, Arty, we want you to do it. Like I say, what is wrong with him? Well, we asked him to do something. He's always looking like, but I figured, well, geez, I mean, me, what would I be doing? What kind of top 10 list would I be doing? So, and then the thing is, whenever I was asked to do something, I never said no. I never said no. So I did it.
Well, we're glad you didn't. So this particular top 10 list was celebrating Administrative Professional Day, which was, and I think Dave even noted it during the top 10, used to be called Secretary's Day, right? Then they PC'd it up a little bit, Administrative Professional Day. And so this top 10 list had to do with someone in a position similar to yours. And so they thought it was a good idea for you to read the top 10 list. Do you remember who approached you? Was it Bill who approached you about it?
I'm trying to think. I think it may have been one of the Stengel brothers.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't remember exactly which one, because there's two of them.
Let's just say it's Eric. Let's just say Eric did.
Well, we can say, for the sake of conversation, let's say Eric. Yeah.
Okay. So Eric comes up to you and says, hey, we got this idea for the top 10 list. And did they shot it? Was it live, or did they shoot the segments and then they just produced it?
It was shot at the desk on the 12th floor.
Yep.
And then it was aired. So it wasn't live, but it was taped. It was taped, and then it was aired later on.
Okay.
And it was shot on the executive floor.
I gotcha. And what did you enjoy doing more, Mike Singletary or pieces like that, like the top 10 list?
Well, the Mike Singletary thing, when I first started, I was extremely nervous. I looked at my first video, I was like this, rocking back and forth for two reasons. Because A, it was cold as hell.
Right.
Because it was shot in the theater.
Right.
And off to the side in something called Cue Card Alley. That's where the Tony Mendez, there's all the cue card guys would work with their cue cards and stuff like that. But it was freezing, And then the thing is, between the nerves and the cold, I was like rocking back and forth, So, but after you do it a couple times, you get more comfortable with it.
Sure.
At least I thought I was getting more comfortable. But I was always nervous because I didn't want to screw up a line. I didn't want to mess up. I think one time Dave went off script.
Yeah. And
now that jarred me a little bit. I'm like, oh, what do I do now? Well, think quick. So I figured, well, what the hell? This will be to determine if I have the ability to pick up, something I had never experienced before. So I just filled it in with something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but because you have to think quick. You just can't sit there and so yeah.
I get a kick out of talking to you about that and listening. I can't wait till these travel restrictions are up. I keep telling you and some of the other members of the show, when we can travel again, and my wife and I are going to go to New York. We got to probably do some business out there and things like that for her company, and actually the company that I actually do the podcast for. This stuff here, I just do this for fun. This is so much fun. I can't wait to come out there and take you and a few other people to the Comedy Cellar and have some fun. I just appreciate your attitude so much, and I want to have a big finish here. And well, you know what? Who knows? It probably won't be a huge big finish because this will be a little anticlimactic probably, but I kind of like that. I want to finish by going through. I want to read you the top 10 list, or I want you to read the top 10 list that you wrote back then, and I'll play Dave and you play you, and we're going to do your top 10 list. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, let's go.
Big finish. Big finish. All right. So from the home office in Newark, New Jersey, the top 10 things you don't want to hear from a receptionist. And of course, it was celebrating Administrative Professional Day. Top 10 things you don't want to hear from a receptionist. Number 10.
Larry's out of the office. Let me connect you to a different Larry.
Number 9.
Please stay on the line while I finish this muffin.
No, we don't want to hear that. Number 8.
Will somebody answer the damn phone, please?
Top 10 things you don't want to hear from a receptionist. Number 7.
I'd love to send you some materials about Scientology.
Oh, let's make sure we talk about that after. Number 6. Okay, is there more? Is that it? World-class comedy, ladies and gentlemen. World-class comedy. Number 5.
I have a telephone. You have a telephone. We should hang out.
Seems logical to me. Top 10 things you don't want to hear from a receptionist. Number 4.
Would it kill you to ask who I want to talk to?
Number 3.
I've been told to pretend he's in a meeting.
Number 2.
Sit on your phone and I'll guess your weight.
And the number 1 thing you don't want to hear from a receptionist.
I'll transfer your call now.
Comedy gold, ladies and gentlemen. It's been 6 years. It's been 6 years, and I just got to ask, do you have any parting words for all of us who miss it so bad? I know you miss it. I know how bad you miss the work environment and the show itself. Do you have any parting words for us there, Arty?
Well, I think in one of my other Fun Friday videos, I was taking the time to thank the viewers, because people like yourself and so many others, if it wasn't for you guys supporting the show, supporting us, we would be out of jobs. We'd have been out the window. And so the thing is, the viewers, I feel they're just as much part of this thing as we were, because the thing is, we were doing it for the viewers. Right. And the thing is, for them to support us for all the years that they have and stick with us, I think that was wonderful. So that was something that I would say. I just want to thank the viewers, and I'm not talking like I'm the host of the show, but but that's very important, because if it wasn't for people watching, because in these shows now you can see people, it's about the the numbers.
Yeah. So
the thing is, if you're not bringing, and Dave was very consistent, in terms of, I guess, the ratings or whatever, so it's that, and to keep that momentum going for such a long period of time.
Absolutely.
That says a lot. It says a lot about him. It says a lot about the people that work there. It says a lot about the people who watch the show. So that's the whole ball of wax right there, my friend.
I feel you, man. And on CNN right now, I'm watching the Story of Late Night. That's a cool show that's on there, retelling some of the things that happened in the history of all of these institutions. And I mean, there wasn't an institution that was longer than David Letterman. He's in my opinion, he's the king. I know he wouldn't call himself that. That's part of his charm. And the other part of the charm is that it wasn't just him; it was the staff around him, and the audience too. We were all kind of part of this together, this collective. And I think that collective is still really strong, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to be part of something as well. You've invited me to be part of something, Arty, and I can't thank you enough for opening yourself up to building a connection with me and all of these things. And I look forward to more Fun Friday videos. If you want to.
Oh yes, indeed. We're coming up something this Friday. I don't know what I'm coming out with, but I'll figure it out.
You always
do.
A
lot of stuff. I have nothing planned. I have no script. I have nothing. All I have is a camera and a tuxedo and a bow tie and glasses.
Well, it's appreciated, and it's fun to watch you do it. And you put a smile on this face all the time. And I just want to say thank you so much. Thanks for being you.
You're welcome, Mike.
You're taking time to do this today, buddy. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And before I go, can I just sing a small song?
You can do whatever you want, buddy. I'm
gonna make it maybe less than a second. Okay. And thank you for the memories. That's all I have.
Right?
That's
it. That's all we need.
I'm quite sure there's more to it, but I don't have the words. That's all I could sing. That's all I know.
Thanks for the memories to everybody from Dave all the way down. And yeah, the next time we do one of these videos, I don't know what the outcome is for these, other than to just say that it's been fun to be part of this and to enjoy that with great people. Arty's one of those people. That has been another episode of Tales from the Late Show. My name is Mike Chisholm. Thank you very much for taking time to be here and to watch this. Cheers. Peace.
All right. Good night, everybody.